Self-teaching has become a big topic in the aerial community lately, especially the aerial community that's been around for a really long time and even before the internet. And there are a lot of people that argue that online videos take away from the teaching experience and the teacher's income, because now people are teaching themselves, and then these teachers that rely on teaching for income aren't making as much money. However, the more things that people do and share, the more we're just going to learn how to do from each other. We can't keep a hold on these things forever. And now that we've reached the point where there's enough tutorials online, there's a lot of resources out there, we can't really make sure or say that it's necessarily bad or shame somebody for posting things like that. And I've kind of felt that way too about these videos of like, well, doesn't that take away from the teacher? Doesn't that take away from the class experience? And I think the answer to that is it depends on how you use it, because most of these tutorials, if it's a knowledgeable person with actual teaching experience, they can be a good resource, and that's all it is, a resource. Like, it really shouldn't be used to self-teach, because self-teaching aerial is not safe unless you're really, really advanced, have a lot of experience, know what you're doing, and have a lot of body awareness to get into certain movements, because I mean by then you're kind of familiar with the different ways to maneuver around an apparatus. At the same time, where is that line where, the videos that we're making are not safe? The short answer to this question is no, but there is more of an explanation. There have been professionals that have died from this art. There are people out there who have done this and with supervision gotten horrible injuries to their spine, things that paralyze them for life that they can never recover from. Yet people will still say that it's gatekeeping. And there's a little bit of a difference between like general safety concerns and gatekeeping. So gatekeeping is more of, I don't want you to know how to do this because I know how to do this and this is my thing to do, and I don't want you to do it because then you're hypothetically competition for me and I would just rather it be my thing. This is largely a safety concern, and it's not just unsafe in the sense that you can fall off and die. It's also unsafe because if you're self-teaching, you don't have a teacher there offering you corrections on your form, because these are people who have done this for years, who have studied anatomy, who have possibly studied health, physical dynamics, who understand rigging. They understand all of these different components to aerial that going in, you don't know. Form may not seem that important, but if you're commonly practicing things with improper form, and there are very foundational things that you learn in the first few months of aerial that you carry with you through your whole aerial journey, and you just build on it and build on it and build on it. The teachers are there to help you build healthy habits and help you explore safe ways of getting into new movements. This is why I haven't done any tutorials yet. Like, I've just felt like, there's enough out there. Like, I have more different things to offer to the aerial community. When I was first starting aerial, I didn't want to just learn skills. Like, I wanted to know about the art, about the history, what I needed to be prepared for class, what I needed to go into it. I couldn't find those resources, so that's the whole reason I started this channel. The more I get into it and the more the other channels are suggested to me, I'm seeing how many people really are doing tutorials. You can't assume that everyone's going to do everything perfectly. Like, even in a class where someone's certified, where this person's had all the training in the world, someone's gonna make a mistake. Someone's gonna give you bad advice at some point. When you're watching another person's tutorials, try to find why they're giving you that information. This is equipment that is supposed to hold you when you are potentially doing things like drops, inversions, spinning, just in general. Like, even sitting on the hoop or sitting on whatever apparatus you have could be disastrous if you don't have the rigging set up correctly. Everything has a different dynamic load. Going into it without even the slightest clue of aerial, about rigging, about aerial rigging specifically, this is an art form that requires a mentor. Like, something like dance, go ahead, knock yourself out, train yourself. Go watch a video to teach you how to do a tour jeté. But this is something that is significantly less safe. I never really had a lot of access to things growing up. I usually had to learn things online. I still don't have aerial in my town. I had to start driving as soon as I was old enough to drive myself out of town. So I understand that it might not be accessible for you. That doesn't make it any more safe. In the case of these tutorial videos, which I'm iffy about, like I said, use them as a resource and nothing more. Don't try to teach yourself a new move or try to teach yourself in general based on what you see on YouTube or Instagram or like a breakdown of a movement. Someone can give the best breakdown of a particular movement in the world, but if you haven't had those foundational classes to set you up, you're not ready. You will thank yourself later when you're not injured, when you're in one piece, and can continue to try things in a safe and healthy exploratory environment. This is an art that is becoming more mainstream, and with being mainstream you get more exposure, and with that you get more people interested in doing it and wanting to do it right away, right now at home. And this is a really big one. During the pandemic, because all of the classes were closed, everyone was buying rigs at home. There was a huge rig shortage. Like, nobody had rigs. I already had mine. I was set. But when you're sitting behind the screen and you've maybe gone to an aerial class or two and you're seeing all these people continuing to do it, yeah, you're gonna get FOMO. Like, you're gonna feel left out. But it became a problem when all these people that were beginners or had never done it before started buying up all these rigs and started to do it at home. I have a bit of an issue with pages like the McFive Circus, which I follow them. I appreciate what they've done. I really applaud them for having that determination and that drive and, like, you know, being able to spend quality family time together and finding something that they all like to do. But in the beginning stages of the pandemic, they were one of the biggest pages that really promoted self-teaching and started claiming that the aerial community that was shaming them were gatekeeping, when really it was just a lack of understanding for the art form and lack of understanding about all of the safety precautions that these professionals have worked so hard to put in place over the years. It's not about shaming. It's really cool what they've done, and there is a certain level of artistry to it. They've brought something to the art that other people haven't been able to do. Doesn't make it any more safe. So it's just this thing that we kind of come back to, and I find that, like, when people talk about this on forums, people get very heated. The mom in the McFive Circus, she has a certification in aerial teaching now, but that's not the point. Like, the point is, she didn't at first when the account was blowing up and their whole thing was being a self-taught circus family. That was how they blew up. Because it's impressive. It's genuinely something that's impressive. Just with the form and the safety concerns in mind, that's not something that everybody should do. The more normalized it becomes, the harder it is to restore this kind of sacred value of safety that we have curated in the aerial art. I'm really glad that she did take that step to get certified, and now she has a better understanding of it. Likewise, just because I have an issue with how they've done things historically, it doesn't mean that I can't like them or their content moving forward, or appreciate the struggles that they went through or the things that they did and the challenges they overcame. Just because I disagree with some aspects of it doesn't mean I'm attacking them, because I just noticed, like, threads about the McFive Circus, people just get heated and they think that just because someone's saying it's unsafe just means that they're attacking the family, and then people that are supportive of them are, like, you know, feel very defensive of it. And so it's like, I just want to make that clear. So I guess the root of this message is be very, very cautious when you are self-teaching. Here's my 2 cents about tutorial videos. When you use those, don't use them to self-teach. Use them as a resource. And so I haven't done any tutorial videos yet on specific movements or, you know, on really anything related to movement. I've mostly just done, you know, talking about my experiences, talking about being a part of this community and what to expect and things like that. But I do know that some people want that physical aspect of it, and they want to see more of what I actually can do and more examples of the type of things that you will learn in the future. And it's also very helpful, especially for like kinesthetic and visual learners, to have a resource to reference to. So maybe you did learn something today, maybe you understand the movement, but if it's going to make you safer, to have that extra resource when you go home and practice on your rig, I think that that's where tutorials can come in handy and actually make things safer. It's a big controversy in the aerial community whether online tutorials that are free for everyone are appropriate. I think they can be. I think it all depends on context and how you use it. My theory is, if I make a tutorial and I can offer you some information that's going to make you safer when you try a movement, if you're going to do it anyways, or if you've already learned it and need a resource, you know, why wouldn't I? Use all the internet resources that you can. Just make sure they're reputable, make sure they're reliable, make sure they know what they're talking about, and cross-reference. Don't just take it from one person. Videos aren't the only resource either. There's so many books that are available, which I can actually make a video about if you guys are interested. I have several books from my teacher trainings, from the people who train me. Please do not try to self-teach or go for that title of self-taught just because you can, or you're trying to save money. Your safety is not something to skimp out on. If you like this style of video and you want to see me talk about this type of thing more often, definitely leave a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. This is definitely a newer style of video for me. I'm usually doing more like straightforward, informative, factual stuff, but I'm kind of exploring, you know, with the certifications that I have and the knowledge that I have now. I feel like those opinions might be able to help someone form their own opinion, or even just educate them about things going on in circus. I don't know. I want to share more of my opinions. Otherwise, any other recommendations are also welcome. I'm happy to make whatever you guys want. I'm here for the circus community. I'm here to answer questions that not only I would have had when I first started out, but questions that you have that I might not have had. So let me know.